So, Writers and Friends, the 18th annual is coming up on April 6th. It's a literary gala. It happens in the Memorial Room at Kingston City Hall. People dress up for this. We usually sell out, so you'd be looking at maybe 150 people in the room. This is an event in aid of an NGO, a non-governmental organization based in Coburg called Horizons of Friendship. And they do terrific work in Central America and Mexico. I say terrific because one unique thing about Horizons is that we up here in the north raise the money, and people in the south, these are impoverished communities, decide how it's going to be used. So it could be a women's co-op, could be solar power, whatever they need, they use the money as they think. So what we have done for 18 years, we've brought the best writers we can find to Kingston. They speak, there are questions from the audience, there's a silent auction. We raise up to $30,000 at these events, which the federal government matches. So for people in the South, impoverished communities in the South, this is a major event. People love to be read to, and the writers we choose are very good presenters, and writers do a lot of this kind of thing, where simply by reading from their work and answering questions from an audience, people pay, these tickets for this event are not cheap, they're $120. However, you do get a tax receipt for most of that. So the money raised, so the people write the books, and then the money goes to the South, and it's used very wisely down there. So it's a way of merging the North and the South. We have 4 authors coming. Catherine Bush is the author of Accusation, which is a novel, one could say, about doubt. It's about a well-meaning man, an apparent philanthropist, who decides to take an Ethiopian circus on the road. These are street jugglers, and he forms a circus. And one would think that it's a kind gesture, but then doubts began to arise. Are there improprieties going on inside that circus? And there's doubt right to the very end of the novel. And some readers aren't even sure whether the accusation of sexual impropriety is correct or not. So that's Accusation by Catherine Bush. Priscilla Uppel has written a book called Projection, and it's a novel about a family reunion gone horribly wrong. Priscilla is 8 when her mother abandons the family. The father becomes suddenly quite ill, and the mother can't take it, and she flees. She runs home to Brazil. And Priscilla grows up, becomes a writer. So this is nonfiction. This is an actual true story. Priscilla goes to Brazil, meets with her mother, and discovers that she is the mother from hell. She is crazy. She's obsessed with film. She's obsessed with herself. So it sounds dire, but it's actually a very funny book. And finally, David McFarlane has written a book. It's called The Figures of Beauty. And it's a novel about regret. A young man of 20 in 1968 is traveling in Italy. He meets a sculptor. He falls in love with her. They spend a summer together, and out of that romance comes a child, but he doesn't know that. He goes back to Canada, lives alone, looks after his aging parents, and many, many years later, this woman, his daughter, makes contact. And so the novel looks at the question, maybe we only meet one person in our lives, the person we are meant to live with. Has this man made a mistake by leaving this woman when he was 20 years old? So that's the question that there's also a great deal about sculpting in the novel. So 3 very good novels, all of them award-winning. All of these authors have been nominated for major prizes. And we also have a musician, James Keelahan, and he's well known in this area, lives in Ottawa now, and he's interested in social justice questions as well. So it's a pretty fine gathering of 4 very talented artists. So I'm a journalist and an author. I've written maybe 18 books, too many books, and my job, and has been for the last decade, is to MC this event, introduce the authors, moderate a Q&A at the end of the afternoon. It's a lot of fun because people, not often you can really rub shoulders with authors and put questions to them, and then we go back to Chez Piggy for a fine meal after the event. So we feel pretty good. The event, as I say, has been going on for 18 years, and you can do the math. We haven't always raised that amount of money, but pretty close. So it's a major, for Horizons of Friendship, this is a major fundraising event. I have been volunteering. I don't like the word volunteering. I have been serving with Horizons of Friendship for almost 30 years. I've traveled in Central America. I have been to some of the places that Horizons of Friendship supports. I know the money is being spent wisely. I know that the need is great. And it's not a lot to ask of us in the North. Many of us are privileged, certainly by comparison to those in the South. So it's a very pleasant way to spend an afternoon hosting an event like this. It's a chance to see a lot of friends, a lot of people I know come to this event. It's just it's a really good cause, and people always, there's a fantastic silent auction, so people leave not only feeling good, that many of them are leaving with pieces of art or textiles. There's a lot of stuff from Central America and Mexico that is auctioned off. So people leave with not just fine memories of the event, but things for the household.